Hello, my name is Monica, and about 3 or 4 years ago, I considered donating a kidney to my niece, Marie, who was in need of a kidney. Um, and so that's what prompted me to go through the process, testing, and all the specifics that they needed. I first considered donating a kidney when our family found out that my niece Marie was in kidney failure. Um, that was, I believe, in 2013, 14. Can't remember specifically the year, but she was fairly young. She was probably like 13, 14. She was going to start junior high, and they had also talked to us about that she would start dialysis. So that's basically when I first started to think about being a donor. I really was interested and really wanted to donate a kidney for my niece specifically, being a living donor, because she's my goddaughter, she's my niece, love her like she's almost like my daughter, and there no hesitation about doing that. I am a donor, meaning on my driver's license, I have elected to be a donor. So that's something that definitely I would do. But specifically, I wanted to donate a kidney to Marie because she needed to have a kidney. So that's mostly why I wanted to be a donor. So there were facts or factors, very important things to know before I made my decision to become a living donor. Things that were explained to me, obviously there were orientations and things that were offered through UCLA. They were very supportive. But I think the first reaction, I didn't really have any issues with knowing any specifics about how donating would affect me, because it was for a loved one. But then after talking to my family, my spouse in particular, my partner, he was concerned. And so then I started to think about any health issues that would occur because I was a donor, any specific things that I would need to do. And then, of course, things were explained, and then orientation and everything was crosswalked. Everything was very guided. It all became very real. And so I think there were two things that guided me: my heart, which no doubt about it, I would do it, in a heartbeat. But then there was this other side, sort of reality of, okay, so what would happen to me after I donated a kidney? Do I need to be on meds myself for the rest of my life, or post-surgery? So all those kinds of specific things, but they were all answered. So I think that wasn't an issue for me. Donating my kidney would mean the world to me in the sense of, specifically because I had chosen to be a living donor for my niece. And so that to me was one of the best things, one of the greatest things I could do for her. Obviously, I am a living donor for her if she needs a kidney. Since being on dialysis, she has been able to have a transplant from somebody else. So that worked out, but I'm still a living donor for her, and I am a donor in general. And I think doing that for anyone, whether it's a loved one, I don't know how to put it in words, but I think it's probably one of the most kind and generous things that anyone can do, to give a person a second chance in life. I think to do that, I think, is an amazing thing. The first person that I told about considering being a donor, I don't know exactly if I told different people at the same time, but I know I told my husband, my partner. We talked about it, obviously because it was, not just going to affect me, but obviously affect our relationship. But then obviously my niece Marie and my mom, so my parents and my family. So it definitely was something that was a decision that I made. And then I was able to talk to my family about it. And obviously their reaction was positive. And I don't think there was anything negative about my decision. So definitely after more people found out about it, like coworkers or friends or other family that wasn't as close as my immediate family, there were a lot of specific questions about care, health care for myself after, or how that would affect me. Would I be able to live with only one kidney? Very specific questions in terms of how that would affect my health, and then obviously how that would affect Marie long term. If how long would my kidney last? Because I'm obviously an adult, and she was beginning to be a young adult at the time when she needed the kidney. So there were a lot of questions like that in terms of compatibility and obviously my health and welfare. So those were some of the questions that people asked, and even my immediate family also asked about the donation. I would say I did have some questions. I didn't have a lot of questions because I thought that everything that was referred to me, whether it was while my niece Marie, we found out she needed a kidney, a lot of questions and a lot of things were answered when we actually found out that she needed a kidney. So many questions were answered visiting the center there and going to the orientation, and then obviously on my own, reading up on the process and visiting different websites, reading other types of articles on my own. So I was fairly knowledgeable before, just because I had already thought about Marie needing a kidney because she had gone through the process and started dialysis. And so then I had already on my own was very proactive in that sense. But a lot of questions that were still lingering were answered. I would have to say that the things that surprised me about the kidney donation and the process of being a living donor was how fast the recovery would be, and whether I would need to be on meds or anything that was similar to the person receiving the kidney. So I thought that was very interesting. I thought a donor would also probably would need to be on similar medication for the rest of their life, like someone who would receive a kidney, but it was not the case. And then also the recovery, although the person donating probably is just as sore as the person receiving a kidney, but I think in the long run, their recovery is a lot faster than the one receiving a kidney, obviously. So I think those were the things that really surprised me. So I felt more comfortable about my decision to donate a kidney after attending the orientation and the information session. Also, we were invited to I believe it's like a resource fair. And so at those different events and at the orientation, I think I really felt more comfortable knowing that there was a strong community, not just for someone who's receiving a kidney, but also for someone who's a living donor. So there's definitely a lot of resources, just a lot of awareness. And so I thought that was very, very important for somebody who was thinking about donating or being a living donor. Ultimately, I was not able to donate to my niece, and only because within a few months after I had gone through all the testing and the process, we got the call one evening. Literally, it was, I think, a few days before Christmas, that there was a match for Marie. And so that was something that needed to happen very quickly. Literally that night, we drove up. And so that's really why I wasn't able to donate. But I'm still a living donor. I would still do the donation for her. And I'm hoping that that doesn't need to happen. But if in the event that it would, I would be able to do it since I am a match. So that's not something that I would change. But because she was able to get a match very quickly, literally, I think it was less than 2 months after I had gone through the process, gone through all the testing, and in all different types of labs, she was able to get a donation from somebody else. So, and that meant that she was able to have a second chance, and is now 17. At the time, she had just turned 15, and so to be able to now almost 4 years later, it's obviously it's huge for our family, and obviously an amazing experience for her and for all of us to witness. So it's been a wonderful thing to have had somebody be able to donate one of their kidneys for my niece. My advice to anyone who is considering being a living donor or donating a kidney is to obviously be comfortable with the decision. Ultimately, you'll be making that decision, and it affects you personally. So the more education you have, the more research on your own you can do, or talk to groups, organizations. They do have an actual orientation once you do want to go through the process, and it was very informative. Obviously, talk to people, I think, that have done it, that have actually donated. Even if it's not a kidney, maybe it's another organ or tissue. It's probably a good idea to talk to other people, because then you can really get more of your, I guess, questions and any things that you might have, that are or things that you're wondering about. So definitely you probably want to do those things, and probably visit the resource fairs that they do have. They have different events, so you definitely want to attend those. Maybe talk to individuals who've received a kidney donation. That might help you as well. But ultimately, you have to be okay with it. You're the person that would be donating, so you really have to want to do it. You don't want to feel forced, I don't think. I think in the situation with me, I don't think there was any doubt, because it's my niece and I love her like she's my own daughter, my goddaughter, really. And so there wasn't any issue. There wasn't any question or any doubt. I didn't take any time really to think about it. But if anyone does have any doubts, I think you do need to talk it out with your family, depending on culturally, religious, whatever it is. You probably need to consult with, those individuals that are part of your life, and then make the best decision for you. And, but I know for me, I would definitely still consider, and I would donate a kidney to my niece if she would need one.